returning to this precious moment. Acknowledgements. No life is lived alone, and no book is written alone. I offer my deepest gratitude to the many people, experiences, and unseen influences that helped shape these pages. To my family, thank you for the love, patience, forgiveness, and companionship that have carried me through changing seasons of life. Whatever wisdom is here has been refined through relationship. To the teachers, authors, spiritual guides, and friends who help widen my perspective, deepen my curiosity, and remind me to return to what is true, thank you. Some taught through words, others through example, and many through simple presence. To those who challenged me, disappointed me, or brought difficulty into my life, thank you as well. Much of what matters most was learned through friction, loss, humility, and the need to begin again. To the children and adults I have worked with over the years, thank you for what you taught me about courage, communication, vulnerability, and the human desire to connect. To music, thank you for the joy, healing, discipline, and moments of freedom beyond words. To nature, the wind, water, forests, birds, changing seasons, sunrise and sunset, thank you for being a patient and honest teacher. To the practices of silence, meditation, breath, and attention, thank you for helping me return, again and again, to the preciousness of this moment. To those reading this book, thank you for your time and willingness to reflect. In a busy world, attention is one of the greatest gifts we can offer. And finally, to the mystery of life itself, this improbable gift of being here at all, thank you. Breathing in, yes. Breathing out, thank you. Preface. Why I wrote this book. I did not write this book as an expert. I wrote it as a man who has lived long enough to see many illusions fall away. I have known seasons of striving, seasons of confusion, seasons of gratitude, seasons of loss, and seasons of deep peace. I have worked hard, built businesses, raised family, pursued achievement, loved nature, played music, faced fear, made mistakes, and continued learning. I have also spent more than 5 decades exploring meditation, awareness, and the simple question of what truly works in living. With time, certain things became clearer. Life goes better when I am present. Happiness grows more naturally from gratitude than from acquisition. Fear and pride distort judgment. Much suffering comes from resisting change and clinging to what cannot remain. Meaning appears when my doing aligns with my being. Belonging grows when I widen the circle of care. And this moment, however ordinary it may seem, is far more precious than we tend to realize. I did not come to these understandings through theory alone. I came to them through living, through success and disappointment, through risk and recovery, through relationships that taught me love and humility, through time and nature, through watching the mind create suffering and learning again and again how to return to the breath, the body, and the living moment in front of me. This book was born from a desire to share what has been helpful, not because I believe I have final answers. I do not. Life remains mysterious, and humility grows the longer one pays attention. But there are patterns that seem trustworthy. There are ways of living that tend to bring more peace, more clarity, more kindness, and more joy. There are habits of mind that repeatedly create suffering. There are truths simple enough to be missed. I have tried to speak plainly here. You will not find complicated systems or grand promises in these pages. Instead, you will find reflections on gratitude, courage, work, aging, belonging, nature, mortality, and the art of being fully alive now. Take what fits. Leave what does not. If a chapter helps you breathe more deeply, suffer less needlessly, trust life a little more, love more honestly, or return to the wonder of the present moment, then this book has served its purpose. Part 1. Waking Up. Chapter 1. This Precious Moment. There comes a time in life when we begin to notice how often we are absent from the very life we have been given. Our body may be here, but our mind is elsewhere, replaying yesterday, rehearsing tomorrow, measuring, comparing, regretting, worrying, hoping. We move through precious hours hardly touching them. We miss the texture of morning light, the warmth of breath, the quiet intelligence of trees, the subtle gift of simply being alive. And yet, life only arrives in one place, this moment. Not later, not once conditions improve, not after we have solved everything, not after we are approved, admired, secure, or certain. Life meets us now. Many of us spend years seeking happiness as though it lives somewhere else. We imagine it hidden in achievement, possessions, recognition, or control. We tell ourselves that peace will come after enough success, enough money, enough reassurance. But even when these things arrive, something remains restless. The mind quickly creates a new horizon and says, there, just beyond that next milestone. This is the trap of postponement. The great secret, simple but not always easy, is that peace does not wait in the future. It becomes available when we fully enter the present. To enter the moment does not mean withdrawing from responsibility or losing ambition. It means bringing our full attention to what is here now. It means tasting food while we eat, listening when another speaks, feeling the body while we walk, noticing the miracle of breath moving in and out without our command. Attention restores dignity to life. When we are scattered, life feels thin. When we are present, even ordinary moments become rich. Washing dishes can carry calm. A walk can become prayer. Sitting quietly can feel complete. The cry of a loon across the water, the wind in tall grass, the face of someone we love. These are no small things when we are truly there to receive them. The world is constantly offering itself. Presence is how we accept the gift. I have found that much of suffering comes not from the moment itself, but from resistance to the moment. We argue with reality. We want this to be different, that to have happened sooner, another person to behave otherwise, the body to never age, life to obey our preferences. This argument is exhausting. When we soften our resistance, energy returns. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means seeing clearly what is already here so wise action can emerge. If it is raining, denial does not help. Better to feel the rain, take shelter if needed, and appreciate the water nourishing the earth. So too with our inner weather. Some days are bright, some days are heavy, some days bring grief, uncertainty, loneliness, or pain. Even then, the practice remains the same. Meet the moment honestly. Breathe with it, make room for it, let awareness be larger than the passing storm. There is tremendous freedom in no longer demanding that every moment be pleasant. Then even difficulty can teach us. A precious moment is not always an easy moment. It is simply the moment that is alive now. We begin to understand that our deepest security does not come from controlling conditions, but from learning that we can meet conditions as they come. We cannot stop every wave, but we can learn to ride many of them. We cannot freeze life into permanence, but we can participate in its movement with increasing grace. This changes everything. We become less hurried, less thirsty for approval, less trapped in complaint, more available to wonder, more able to love. There is a quiet joy that comes when being replaces chasing. Try something simple. Pause for one breath. Feel the inhale arriving on its own. Feel the exhale leaving on its own. Nothing to earn, nothing to prove. Life happening freely. This breath is not a small event. It is the universe giving itself again. And if this breath is received fully, then this moment, however ordinary it may seem, is enough. This precious moment has always been waiting for your attention. Live in a noisy time. Many are tired, divided, distracted, and hungry for something real. My hope is that these pages offer a little steadiness amid the noise, a reminder that peace is often closer than we think. You do not need to wait for perfect conditions to begin. You do not need to solve everything before living fully. You do not need to become someone else to find meaning. Life is already here. This breath is already here. Chapter 2. Gratitude creates happiness. Many people spend their lives asking how to become happy while overlooking one of the most direct pathways available to them. They search through acquisition, entertainment, status, stimulation, distraction, romance, success, or control. They assume happiness must be chased, earned, or discovered somewhere outside themselves. Yet even when these things are gained, the feeling often fades. What was once exciting becomes ordinary. What was once enough becomes insufficient. The appetite returns. This is not failure. It is simply the nature of seeking happiness in what changes. There is another way, simpler, quieter, and available in every season of life. Gratitude. Not gratitude as politeness. Not gratitude as forced positivity. Not gratitude as denial of pain. But gratitude is a shift in attention toward the gift that is already here. When attention moves from what is missing to what is present, something changes inside us. The nervous system softens, the heart opens, the mind loosens its grip on complaint. We begin to feel supported by life rather than abandoned by it. Gratitude does not always change our circumstances, it changes our relationship to them. This is why two people can stand in the same rain and have entirely different experiences. One curses the weather, another smells the earth, hears the roof sing, and feels wonder in the nourishment of fields and forests. The outer event is the same, the inner world is different. Gratitude is a way of seeing. I have often felt that happiness is less something we capture and more something that naturally follows grateful attention. When we recognize what is working, joy appears quietly on its own. We do not have to force it. Breath is working, the heart is beating, light enters the room. A friend remembers us. Water flows from the faucet. Birdsong breaks the morning silence. Even now, awareness is present enough to read these words. How much must be functioning for this one moment to exist? We miss countless miracles because they arrive dressed as ordinary life. Gratitude removes the disguise. This practice becomes especially powerful during difficulty. When life hurts, the mind narrows toward the wound. This is natural, yet if the wound becomes the whole field of attention, suffering deepens. Gratitude widens the field. Pain may be here, but so is breath. Loss may be here, but so is love remembered. Fear may be here, but so is the strength to meet uncertainty may be here, but so is this moment. Gratitude does not erase sorrow. It gives us ground beneath it. There is wisdom in expressing thanks outwardly. To silently feel grateful is nourishing. To speak it can deepen the experience. A simple thank you restores connection between people. Appreciation shared becomes relational medicine. Many relationships weaken not from lack of love, but from lack of expressed appreciation. We assume others know. Better to say it. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this meal. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your life touching mine. These words can heal more than we realize. There is also gratitude for the body itself. We are quick to criticize the body, compare it, resent its aging, or demand more from it. Yet the body serves faithfully for decades, breathing, balancing, repairing, carrying us through joy and grief alike. Move a finger, take a breath, stand and walk across a room. None of this is guaranteed. All of it is extraordinary. When gratitude enters the body, dignity returns. Some imagine gratitude should come only after everything improves. But gratitude is often what helps improvement begin. It shifts chemistry, perception, posture, and possibility. It makes wise action more likely because resentment no longer consumes all available energy. The grateful person can still act strongly. They can protest injustice, grieve losses, work hard, and change what must be changed. Gratitude does not weaken courage, it steadies it. A thankful heart is not passive, it is resourced. Try something simple. Before rising in the morning, notice one thing already given. The bed beneath you, the breath within you, the chance of another day. Before sleep, notice one thing received, a kindness, a lesson, a meal, a glimpse of beauty, the strength to endure. Do this consistently, and life begins to feel less like a burden and more like a gift. Not because everything is easy, because everything is included. Happiness is not always loud. Often it arrives quietly through appreciation. Gratitude is how we open the door. Chapter 3, Saying Yes to Life. Each morning, life places a question before us. Will you meet this day with openness or resistance? Many people say no without realizing it. They say no through complaint, no through dread, no through resentment, no through refusing reality as it is. To say yes to life does not mean approving of everything. It does not mean liking pain, loss, disappointment, or difficulty. It means beginning with willingness rather than refusal. Yes, this day has arrived. Yes, these conditions are here. Yes, this is what must now be met. From resistance comes friction. From willingness comes movement. When we argue with what already is, we suffer twice. First from the difficulty itself, and second from our refusal to meet it. Saying yes creates energy. It opens creativity. It opens patience. It opens courage. It opens the possibility of skillful response. A closed mind cannot receive the day. An open heart can work with almost anything. Many people postpone life while waiting for better conditions. when I have more money, when I feel better, when others change, when the world improves, when fear disappears. But life keeps moving. The practice is to begin now, where you are, with what is here. Yes to this breath, yes to this body, yes to this unfinished life, yes to this chance to participate. Even grief can be met with yes. Yes, I love deeply. Yes, loss hurts. Yes, I remain alive. Even uncertainty can be met with yes. Yes, I do not know. Yes, I will take the next true step. There is strength in this posture. Try something simple each morning. Before reaching for worry or complaint, pause and say yes to this day, yes to this life, yes to meeting what comes with courage. Then begin. Life often opens for those willing to meet it. Chapter 4, Calibrating to Harmony. Each morning offers more than another day. It offers a tuning before the news, before the phone, before the demands of the world, before old habits gather momentum. There is a brief and precious opening in which we can choose how to meet life. Many people begin the day by entering noise. They reach immediately for stimulation, worry, comparison, unfinished business, and mental weather. Before their feet are fully on the floor, the mind has already been recruited into agitation. Then they wonder why the day feels crooked. A wiser beginning is possible. We can meet the morning with intention to calibrate to harmony. Just as a musician tunes before playing, human beings can tune before participating in the day. Posture, balance, breath, attention, gratitude, presence. These are not small things. They are foundational conditions. When posture is upright, something in the mind often follows. When balance is attended to, reactivity softens. When breath deepens, the nervous system receives a message of safety. When attention steadies, clarity returns. When gratitude enters, the day brightens before events have even begun. This is why morning practice matters. It is less about discipline for its own sake and more about alignment. A person who spends even 30 quiet minutes in meditation may notice the debris of thought settling. Old resentments lose urgency. Future fears lose some authority. Awareness widens. The world has not changed, yet the one meeting the world has changed. To greet the rising sun can itself become medicine. Light touches the eyes, circadian rhythms receive instruction. The body remembers it belongs to something older than schedules and screens. The sun rises without complaint. It simply shines. To sit in its presence is to receive a silent teaching. Then movement, yoga, walking, stretching, balance work, breath-coordinated motion. These restore relationship between mind and body. Many people live from the neck up, trapped in commentary. Movement returns intelligence to the whole organism. The spine lengthens, joints awaken, blood moves, stagnation loosens. The body says thank you in its own language. And then tone. A sustained musical note honestly given can organize the inner world. Breath, embouchure, vibration, listening, these gather scattered attention into one stream. A trumpet tone held with sincerity is not merely sound, it is concentration made audible. It is breath shaped into presence. It is a reminder that life becomes beautiful when energy is directed cleanly. Even companionship can be part of calibration. To hold a faithful dog while greeting the morning is no trivial thing. Animals often know what humans forget, how to be here without narrative. Their steadiness, warmth, and uncalculated affection restore perspective. The day need not begin with abstraction. It can begin with breath, with sunlight, with movement, with tone, with love. This chapter belongs beside saying yes to life, because practice is how yes becomes embodied. Anyone can speak yes. Practice teaches the nervous system to mean it. Yes to uprightness. Yes to balance. Yes to breath. Yes to discipline that nourishes rather than punishes. Yes to beginning again. Some mornings will feel graceful. Some will feel restless. Some the meditation will wander. Some the body will resist. Some the mind will complain. Practice anyway. The point is not perfection. The point is relationship. A tree does not become strong from one sunrise. It grows through daily contact with light. Human beings are similar. We become what we repeatedly practice. If each morning begins in complaint, complaint deepens. If each morning begins in hurry, hurry deepens. If each morning begins in harmony, harmony gains roots. Try this simple sequence. Wake and stand upright. Take 10 conscious breaths. Look toward the sky. Feel gratitude for being here. Move the body with care. Sit in silence. Offer one honest tone through voice, instrument, or heart. Then enter the day. Do this consistently and something subtle begins to change. You carry less chaos into meetings. You react less quickly. You notice beauty sooner. You recover faster from difficulty. You become easier for others to be around. This is wisdom in practical form. Find what fits. Practice what works. Do no harm. The world may remain turbulent, but you need not begin turbulent. Each sunrise, ask quietly, how will you tune yourself today? Answer with your practice. Then step forward in harmony. Chapter 5. Before the word, before the word, before the word tree, there was the tree. Before the word sky, there was the sky. Before the word love, there was the felt movement of love itself. Before the word fear, there was the quickening pulse, the tightening belly, the instinct to protect. Life arrives first. Language follows. This seems obvious, yet much of human suffering grows from forgetting it. We mistake the word for the thing, the label for the living reality, the opinion for the truth, the map for the territory. Language is one of humanity's great tools. Through words we teach, remember, coordinate, warn, comfort, and create. Words allow poetry, science, law, prayer, and story. They help us pass wisdom across generations. But every tool has limits. Words divide in order to function. They separate this from that, self from other, good from bad, success from failure, mine from yours, us from them. This is useful for navigation. It is not the whole of reality. The ocean does not know itself as ocean. The bird does not sing the concept of birdsong. Sunset does not call itself sunset. Breath enters without naming. Direct experience is whole long before thought begins slicing it into categories. Many people live almost entirely in the verbal overlay of life. They do not meet the moment itself as much as their thoughts about the moment. They eat while thinking, walk while rehearsing, listen while preparing replies, look at beauty while labeling it, feel emotion while narrating it. The mind keeps speaking, and the raw intimacy of life is missed. This is not because thought is evil. Thought is marvelous when used wisely. It can solve problems, plan journeys, compose music, build bridges, and write books. But thought makes a poor master. When words become tyrants, we suffer. A person calls themselves failure and believes it. Another calls someone enemy and stops seeing humanity. One says old and feels finished. Another says success and never feels enough. A nation says us and them, and violence follows. A single word can imprison perception. Notice how quickly labels harden the living world. You meet someone once and call them difficult. You make one mistake and call yourself inadequate. You feel sadness and call the day ruined. Reality was moving, language froze it. This is why humility matters. The moment is always larger than our description of it. The person across from you is more than the category you assign. Your body is more than the diagnosis. Your life is more than the story you repeat. This day is more than your mood. The map can help, but it is never the territory. There are moments when this becomes obvious. Standing before mountains, watching waves break endlessly, hearing a trumpet note fade into silence. Looking into the eyes of a dog who loves you. Holding a newborn child, sitting quietly as dawn arrives. Words often grow thin there. We say beautiful, sacred, wow, amazing. Yet these words barely touch what is known directly. Many spiritual traditions point here in different ways. They remind us that ultimate reality cannot be fully captured by concepts. The finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. The menu is not the meal. The name is not the thing named. This does not ask us to reject language. It asks us to hold language lightly. Use words. Do not worship them. Use concepts. Do not become trapped inside them. Use stories. Remember, they are stories. Then language becomes servant rather than jailer. How do we practice living before the word? First, pause and sense directly. Before naming weather, feel the air. Before judging food, taste it. Before analyzing music, hear it. Before interpreting emotion, feel it in the body. Second, notice labels as labels. Instead of I am anxious, try anxiety is present. Instead of he is a fool, try I am reacting strongly. Instead of this is a disaster, try this is difficult. Space appears. Third, spend time with what does not speak in words. Trees, water, animals, breath, silence, movement, music. These can recalibrate the mind. Fourth, listen more deeply to others. Often we hear only the words while missing the living being speaking through them. Tone, pain, longing, fear, love, need. The message beneath the message matters. Try something simple now. Look around the room. For 10 seconds, do not name anything. Do not say chair, wall, lamp, window. Just see. Notice the freshness that appears when labels loosen. Then take one breath without calling it inhale or exhale. Just feel. Life has been here all along, waiting beneath description. Before the word, there is the world. Before the story, there is the moment. Before the self you keep describing, there is awareness itself. Return there often. It is quieter than thought, wider than language, and closer than anything you can name. Part 2, The Inner Path, Chapter 7, Letting Go of Pride and Fear. Much of human suffering is organized around two ancient forces, fear and pride. Fear contracts us, pride hardens us. Fear whispers that we are unsafe, unsupported, not enough, or one mistake away from loss. Pride whispers that we must appear superior, admired, certain, or in control. One says, protect yourself. The other says, inflate yourself. Though they seem opposite, they often work together. Pride is frequently fear in costume. We boast because we fear insignificance. We dominate because we fear vulnerability. We refuse to apologize because we fear looking weak. We cling to status because we fear emptiness. We compare because we fear our own worthlessness. And fear often hides behind prideful behaviors so well that we mistake them for strength. Many lives become exhausting because they are spent managing image and defending insecurity. We try to look successful, sound certain, appear unbothered, stay ahead, avoid criticism, maintain advantage. This consumes enormous energy. Meanwhile, the simple joy of being alive waits quietly beneath the performance. Fear and pride distort perception. Fear makes the future seem more dangerous than it is. It fills the mind with imagined catastrophes and repeated rehearsals of what may go wrong. Pride makes the self seem more central than it is. It keeps score, seeks special treatment, and resists anything that threatens identity. Together they keep us busy and disconnected. We become less able to listen, less able to love, less able to learn, less able to rest. The antidote is not self-hatred or passivity, it is letting go. To let go of fear does not mean becoming reckless. Healthy caution has its place. We look both ways before crossing the street. We prepare wisely. We respect reality. But psychological fear often extends far beyond practical usefulness. It keeps replaying dangers long after action is possible. Letting go of fear means no longer worshiping imagined futures. We return to what is here now. This moment may contain challenge, but it also contains breadth, intelligence, and the capacity to respond. Most of what fear predicts never happens. Much of what does happen can be met more skillfully than we expected. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act without obeying it. To let go of pride does not mean becoming small or denying gifts. Humility is not self-erasure. Humility is accurate proportion. It recognizes talents without worshiping them and limitations without dramatizing them. A mountain does not brag. A tree does not apologize for being tall. The sun does not announce itself each morning. It simply shines. Healthy confidence is quiet. Pride is noisy. Pride wants to be seen. Humility wants to serve. Pride says, look at me. Humility says, how may I help? When pride loosens, relationships improve quickly. We become easier to live with. We listen more fully. We interrupt less. We need fewer victories in conversation. We can admit mistakes without collapse. We can celebrate others without feeling diminished. This is freedom. Many conflicts that seem ideological are actually pride collisions. Two identities defending themselves. Two fears armored in certainty. Two egos needing to win. When even one person softens, space opens. The same is true inwardly. Much of our self-criticism is pride reversed. We imagine we should be exceptional, flawless, endlessly productive, admired by all. When reality differs, we attack ourselves. But this too is ego drama. Ordinary humanity is enough. You may fail, you may age, you may be misunderstood, you may lose status, you may need help. None of this removes your worth. Letting go often happens through life itself. Illness humbles us. Loss reveals what matters. Aging strips false identities. Love asks us to become less self-centered. Service redirects attention outward. Nature reminds us of scale. Grace sometimes arrives by dismantling what pride built. How do we practice releasing fear and pride? First, notice them without shame. Fear says, what if everything goes wrong? Pride says, what if I don't look impressive? Seeing clearly weakens their spell. Second, return to the body. Feel the breath. Relax the jaw. Unclench the hands. Let the shoulders drop. Much ego lives in tension. Third, choose one honest action. Tell the truth instead of performing. Ask for help instead of pretending. Encourage someone instead of competing. Begin despite fear. Apologize without defending. Small acts of sincerity loosen old chains. Fourth, remember scale. We are brief visitors on a vast and beautiful planet. The drama of image softens when seen against sky, stars, forests, oceans, and time. One day each of us will release everything. Knowing this can make us kinder now. Try something simple today. When you feel fear rising, ask, what is actually here right now? When pride rises, ask, what needs protecting in me? Then breathe. You do not need to be larger than life. You do not need to shrink from life. You are invited to meet life directly. Beyond pride and fear, there is a steadier place, clear, humble, courageous, and free. That place has been waiting beneath the noise all along. Chapter 8, Non-Attachment and Freedom. Much of suffering begins with a simple movement of the mind, grasping. We grasp at possessions, identities, relationships, opinions, routines, youth, certainty, comfort, and imagined futures. We want pleasant experiences to remain and unpleasant experiences to disappear. We cling to what is past and resist what is changing. Yet life does not stand still for our preferences. Everything moves. Seasons turn, bodies age, children grow, roles shift, success rises and falls, loved ones come and go, thoughts change, feelings pass, even mountains slowly wear into sand. To cling to a changing world as though it should remain fixed is to place ourselves in continual friction with reality. This friction is suffering. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean failing to love, withdrawing from life, or refusing to care. It means loving fully without trying to possess. It means participating deeply without demanding permanence. It means appreciating what is given while knowing it cannot be held forever. This is a freer kind of love. Attachment says, stay exactly as I need you to be. Love says, thank you for being here. Attachment says, this must not change. Wisdom says, everything changes. Attachment says, my happiness depends on this. Freedom says, my happiness can include this, but is not imprisoned by it. Many people misunderstand non-attachment because they associate it with coldness. In truth, clinging often creates more coldness than freedom does. When we grasp tightly, fear enters. We become controlling, anxious, jealous, rigid, or desperate. We stop relating to life directly and begin relating mainly to our need. But when grasping softens, tenderness becomes possible. We can enjoy without clutching, serve without self-importance, love without domination, work without becoming our title, rest without guilt, age without humiliation. Non-attachment returns us to proportion. Consider possessions. Objects can be useful, beautiful, meaningful, and enjoyable. There is nothing inherently wrong with owning things. The burden begins when things start owning attention. We accumulate beyond need, then must maintain, ensure, protect, compare, upgrade, organize, and worry. The clutter outside often mirrors clutter within. Sometimes freedom is not gaining more, but needing less. The same principle applies to identity. We build stories about who we are. I am successful. I am a failure. I am the strong one. I am the victim. I am the smart one. I am the one who is always right. These identities can become cages. Life keeps evolving, yet we defend an outdated self-image. Non-attachment allows us to grow beyond yesterday's description. You are more alive than any label. Opinions too can become attachments. Thought is valuable, but when identity fuses with belief, curiosity dies. We no longer seek truth. We defend position. Relationships fracture. Humility disappears. Freedom includes the ability to revise, to say, I may be mistaken. I had not considered that. I am learning. This is intellectual spaciousness. Perhaps the most painful attachments concern time. We cling to the past and replay what should have been, or we cling to the future and insist life unfold according to plan. Meanwhile, the only place life is actually available, the present, is neglected. Non-attachment brings us home. It says, yes, memory matters. Yes, planning has value. But do not abandon the living moment for shadows of time. How do we practice letting go first? Notice where tension lives. What am I afraid to lose? What must happen for me to feel okay? What identity am I defending? What story am I replaying? Awareness begins release. Second, feel impermanence not as threat, but as teacher. Because moments pass, they are precious. Because people are mortal, love matters now. Because youth fades, wisdom can deepen. Because endings come, presence becomes urgent. Impermanence gives life poignancy. Third, simplify something. Clear a drawer. Cancel an unnecessary obligation. Release one resentment. Put down one comparison. Leave space in the schedule. Simplicity creates breathing room for the soul. Fourth, practice gratitude instead of possession. You do not need to own a sunset to enjoy it. You do not need to control a friendship to cherish it. You do not need to freeze a season to receive its beauty. Receive more, grip less. There will still be grief. Non-attachment does not prevent heartbreak. When we love deeply, loss hurts. But grief held in freedom is cleaner than grief tangled in denial. We can mourn honestly while honoring the natural movement of life. Sometimes the bravest prayer is, thank you and goodbye. Try something simple today. Hold something in your hand, a cup, a leaf, a photograph. Notice how naturally the hand can close around it. Then slowly open the hand. Feel the difference. The closed fist has strength, but little capacity. The open hand can receive and release. So can the heart. Freedom is not found by escaping life. It is found by learning how to love life without trying to imprison it. Chapter 9, the business of keeping us unhappy. There is an economy built upon dissatisfaction. This is not conspiracy, it is structure. Large parts of modern life profit when human beings feel not enough, not attractive enough, not successful enough, not secure enough, not entertained enough, not important enough. If people rested deeply in enoughness, many engines of consumption would slow. So we are continually invited into restlessness. Advertising often begins with a wound, then offers a product as cure. You are aging. Buy this. You are behind. Buy that. You are missing out. Click here. You are not admired enough. Display more. You are anxious. Consume distraction. The message is subtle and relentless. Something is wrong with you, and relief is just one purchase away. Yet relief is often brief. Soon another lack is manufactured. Another comparison appears. Another upgrade beckons. Another insecurity is stirred. This cycle keeps economies moving, but often leaves hearts exhausted. The same pattern operates beyond products. News profits from alarm. Politics profits from outrage. Social media profits from agitation and comparison. Attention is valuable, and disturbed attention is often more profitable than peaceful attention. A calm person may walk outside. An agitated person may keep scrolling. A grateful person may feel enough. A restless person may keep buying. A connected person may need less manipulation. This does not mean business is evil or all commerce is corrupt. Honest exchange can be beautiful. Good tools, good food, good medicine, good art, and useful services improve life. The issue is not commerce. The issue is feeding dissatisfaction as fuel. When insecurity becomes business strategy, suffering scales. Many people never notice how deeply this conditioning enters the nervous system. They feel low and assume something is wrong with them. They feel restless and think they need more. They feel envy and call it ambition. They feel emptiness and try to fill it externally. But often the emptiness is not lack of product. It is lack of presence, lack of rest, lack of belonging, lack of gratitude, lack of silence, lack of direct contact with life. A person can own much and feel poor. Another can own little and feel rich. Wealth is not only possession, wealth is also attention. Can you enjoy a meal? Can you love a friend? Can you rest in a chair? Can you watch sunset without needing more? Can you breathe without rushing elsewhere? These are forms of abundance no market can sell. This chapter is not anti-progress. It is pro-freedom. Freedom begins when we notice what is being sold beneath what is being sold. Sometimes a shoe is just a shoe. Sometimes it is identity, status, belonging, youth, worthiness. See clearly, then choose freely. The most radical consumer in a culture of manipulation may be the grateful person. The most difficult person to exploit may be the one who knows enough. The one who can enjoy simple things becomes harder to control. Birdsong, movement, meaningful work, honest friendship, cold water, warm sunlight, music, silence, breath. None require branding. Try an experiment. For one day, notice every message suggesting you are incomplete. Watch advertisements. Notice comparison impulses. Observe urges triggered by boredom. Do not condemn any of it. Just see it. Then place attention on what is already working. Your body breathing, water available, someone who cares, a sky above you, this chance to begin again. Gratitude interrupts the machinery of dissatisfaction. Presence weakens manipulation. Enoughness restores dignity. A wise economy serves life. An unwise economy feeds on emptiness. Do not hate the system. Simply become less available to its hooks. Buy what is useful. Enjoy what is beautiful. Support what is ethical. But do not hand over your peace. Your attention is precious. Part 3. When Doing Meets Being. Chapter 10. Meaningful Work. One of the great questions of human life is not simply, what do I do, but deeper still, why am I doing it? Many people spend decades working without ever asking this second question. They rise early, fulfill obligations, meet deadlines, solve problems, earn income, maintain responsibilities, and keep the machinery of life moving. There is dignity in this. Honest labor deserves respect. Yet beneath the routine, something in us still longs for meaning. We do not hunger only for wages. We hunger for purpose. We hunger to matter. We hunger to feel that our energy is being given to something worthwhile. This is why a person can be exhausted after a profitable day and deeply nourished after a difficult one. The difference is often not effort, but meaning. Meaningful work is not limited to professions admired by society. It is not reserved for artists, leaders, or those with prestigious titles. Meaning can be present in parenting, caregiving, teaching, repairing, cleaning, farming, listening, building, healing, mentoring, organizing, protecting, creating, and serving in countless unseen ways. Meaning is less about status and more about contribution. A janitor who keeps a school clean for children may live with more purpose than an executive driven only by vanity. A grandparent who offers steady love may do work more valuable than many celebrated careers. A nurse comforting one frightened patient may touch eternity in a single hour. The world often confuses visibility with value. Much of the most important work is quiet. Still, many people feel trapped in labor that drains them. They work from fear alone, fear of poverty, judgment, failure, instability, or disappointing others. Fear can motivate action for a time, but it rarely nourishes the spirit. When fear becomes the sole fuel, burnout grows near. The body tires, the mind dulls, resentment builds. Joy leaves the room. This does not mean everyone can instantly abandon responsibilities and pursue ideal circumstances. Life is more complex than slogans. Bills exist. Dependents rely on us. Seasons of necessary duty are real. But even within constraints, freedom can begin through relationship to work. Two people may perform the same task. One experiences burden, another experiences service. One feels imprisoned, another sees skill, contribution, discipline, and opportunity to grow. Meaning often enters through perspective. A meal prepared can be drudgery or nourishment offered. A business can be greed or a vehicle for serving customers well. Teaching can be employment or shaping lives. Repairing a roof can be labor or shelter given. Work becomes richer when linked to those it benefits. This is why mission matters. When individuals or organizations lose sight of why they exist, activity becomes frantic but hollow. Busyness replaces purpose. Metrics replace meaning. Motion increases while vitality declines. Many modern lives suffer from this disease, constant doing without inner grounding. We hurry from task to task, yet cannot answer what our efforts truly serve. Meaningful work asks for alignment between being and doing. It asks, does this in me Does it use gifts I've been given? Does it reduce suffering or increase life? Understanding or care? Expression reflects something real. Does it strengthen dignity, beauty? Can I respect myself while doing it? These questions matter more than title. There are seasons when work is mainly practical. We do what is needed. There is no shame in that. But if practical necessity becomes lifelong exile from the heart, restlessness often appears. Something deeper wants voice. Sometimes meaningful work emerges gradually. The accountant who mentors younger staff, the mechanic who restores confidence to worried customers, the retiree who becomes a volunteer guide, the business owner who shifts from profit obsession to service excellence, the musician who plays to heal rather than impress. Purpose can be rediscovered at any age. It is also important to remember that meaningful work includes inner work. Learning patience, healing bitterness, becoming honest, cultivating steadiness, choosing kindness under pressure. These invisible labors improve every outer role we touch. No career can compensate for an undeveloped heart. How do we move toward meaningful work? First, notice where energy naturally rises. What activities engage you? Where do you lose track of time? What kind of helping feels natural? What injustice moves you to care? What beauty calls you to create? These clues matter. Second, ask where suffering can be eased. Meaning often appears where our gifts meet another's need. Third, bring excellence to what is already before you. Sometimes the next calling is hidden inside the current responsibility. Depth grows where attention goes. Fourth, release comparison. Your work need not look impressive to be sacred. A life can be noble without being famous. Try something simple today. Before beginning your tasks, pause and ask, who benefits from what I'm about to do? Then let one face, one family, one community, or one future generation come to mind. Work linked to service changes texture. We do not all need the same occupation, but each of us needs some felt sense that our energy is being given well. When doing meets being, labor becomes lighter. Chapter 11, presence in action. Many people imagine presence belongs only to quiet places. They associate it with meditation cushions, mountain retreats, silent rooms, candles, prayer benches, or long walks in nature. These are beautiful gateways. Stillness can teach us much. Silence reveals what noise hides. But presence is not meant only for stillness. Its deeper test is movement. Can we remain awake while acting? Can we stay whole while engaged? Can we bring full attention into motion, challenge, relationship, work, and creativity? This is where presence becomes embodied. There are moments when action and awareness meet so completely that the usual sense of separation falls away. The doer softens. Time changes texture. Thought quiets. Effort becomes fluid. We feel both intensely alive and strangely unburdened. Athletes know this, musicians know this, craftspeople know this, dancers, surgeons, teachers, artists, gardeners, and lovers know this. Something larger than self-consciousness takes over. We often call it flow. Yet flow is not magic reserved for specialists. It is the natural result of wholehearted attention meeting meaningful action. When a musician is truly present, notes are no longer merely produced. They are discovered in real time. Listening deepens. The room becomes part of the instrument. Performer and audience soften into one shared field of rhythm and feeling. When an athlete is present, movement becomes intelligent. The body responds faster than thought could manage. Balance refines itself. Fear diminishes because attention is too occupied by reality to be lost in imagination. When a teacher is present, information becomes relationship. The room is read moment by moment. Students feel seen. Learning becomes alive. When a parent is present, even ordinary moments become sacred. Shoes tied slowly, a child's question answered fully, a meal shared without distraction. These may shape a life more than grand speeches ever could. Presence transforms action from mechanical repetition into living participation. The opposite is familiar to many of us. We act while elsewhere. We drive while mentally arguing. We eat while scrolling. We listen while preparing our reply. We work while resenting the work. We speak while half absent. We exercise while thinking of emails. The body performs, but consciousness is divided. This divided attention creates fatigue. We become strangely tired, not only from tasks, but from being split during them. Energy leaks through fragmentation. Wholeness restores vitality. When we fully do one thing, even demanding tasks can feel cleaner. less internal friction, less wasted movement, less psychological drag. This does not require perfection, it requires return. The mind will wander, habit will pull, distraction will seduce. Presence is not never leaving, it is coming back. Back to breath, back to sensation, back to sound, back to the person in front of you, back to the task at hand, back to this step. Repeated returns build a life. There is also courage in presence. Many distractions are not innocent, they are escape routes. We flee boredom, discomfort, uncertainty, vulnerability, and the unfinished feelings that silence might reveal. To remain present while acting means we stop running from experience. We feel the tremble before speaking truth. We feel the nerves before performance. We feel the grief while continuing to serve. We feel fatigue and still move wisely. We feel joy without clinging to it. Presence allows feeling without drowning in it. This is why many peak experiences feel spiritual, on a wave, in music, on a mountain, in creative absorption during deep service. The usual ego commentary quiets. We glimpse life without so much narration. For a moment, we are simply here. No need to impress, no need to compare, no need to rehearse identity, just vivid participation. Yet presence in action need not wait for extraordinary moments. It can enter washing dishes, typing an email, sweeping a floor, preparing soup, repairing a hinge, walking to the mailbox, holding a hand in silence. The sacred often hides inside the ordinary until attention reveals it. How do we cultivate presence in action? First, choose single tasking whenever possible. Do one thing for a few minutes with full attention. This retrains scattered habits. Second, use the body as anchor. Feel feet on the ground, hands touching tools, breath moving, sound in the room. Third, lower unnecessary haste. Speed without presence often creates mistakes, tension, and shallow experience. Fourth, care about what you are doing, even briefly. Attention follows value. If you treat a task as beneath you, presence fades. If you offer dignity to the moment, awareness strengthens. Fifth, remember service. Action done for benefit beyond self often gathers energy naturally. Try something simple today. Choose one routine activity, brushing teeth, making coffee, walking to the car, answering one message, and do it with total attention. Just this. Notice how the moment changes when you fully arrive. The world is not lacking sacred places. It is lacking people who are present within the places they already stand. When awareness enters action, life stops feeling like something happening elsewhere. It becomes immediate, intimate, and alive. Chapter 12, Teaching Happiness. One of the most sacred responsibilities we carry is not simply feeding, protecting, or educating children. It is teaching them how to be happy, not entertained, not endlessly stimulated, not superior to others, not successful by narrow cultural standards, but genuinely, resiliently happy. This teaching rarely happens through lectures. Children learn happiness less from what we tell them and more from what we embody. They study our nervous systems, our priorities, our tone of voice, our reactions to stress, our relationship with gratitude, our capacity to love, and how we meet ordinary moments. They learn by living near us. A child raised near chronic complaint may learn that life is burden. A child raised near constant fear may learn that the world is threat. A child raised near endless distraction may learn that silence is unbearable. A child raised near gratitude may learn that life is gift. A child raised near steadiness may learn that difficulty can be met. A child raised near wonder may learn that existence is beautiful. We are always teaching, whether intentionally or not. Modern culture often confuses pleasure with happiness. It offers children screens, sugar, noise, novelty, and stimulation while neglecting the slower foundations of well-being, connection, presence, movement, purpose, beauty, rest, contribution, and belonging. Pleasure has its place, but pleasure without depth can become hunger. The child receives more and enjoys less. Attention fragments, patience thins, wonder dulls. The nervous system begins expecting constant input and grows uneasy in stillness. Then we wonder why joy feels distant. Real happiness is sturdier. It can laugh easily, but it does not depend on entertainment. It can enjoy gifts, but it is not built from consumption. It can feel pain and still remain fundamentally connected to life. Children can learn this. One of the simplest pathways is gratitude. Teach a child to notice what is already working. The ability to run, warm socks in winter, rain on the roof, a dog's affection, hands that can build, food on the table, a friend who came over, the miracle of breath. When gratitude becomes natural attention, happiness often follows quietly. Another pathway is wonder. Children begin life close to wonder. They study ants, clouds, puddles, shadows, sticks, stones, bird calls, and the strange beauty of everyday things. Adults often rush them past these doorways toward efficiency. But wonder is not childish. It is nourishment. A child kneeling beside a caterpillar may be receiving something no curriculum can replace: reverence, patience, curiosity, and direct relationship with life. We should be careful not to educate wonder out of them. Movement also matters deeply. Children are designed for motion: climbing, balancing, jumping, dancing, throwing, digging, rolling, running. These are not merely ways to burn energy. They are how the body learns confidence, coordination, courage, and joy. A child who trusts the body often trusts life more easily. So too with contribution. Children thrive when given meaningful ways to help. Set the table, water the plants, carry groceries, comfort a sibling, feed the dog, sweep the porch, write a thank you note. Contribution builds dignity. When a child feels useful, self-worth becomes rooted in participation rather than praise alone. Praise has value, but it can become dangerous when overused or attached mainly to performance. Then the child learns to chase approval instead of developing inner grounding. Better than constant praise is honest appreciation. Thank you for helping. I noticed your kindness. You stayed with something hard. You told the truth. You were thoughtful. You kept trying. This teaches character rather than vanity. Children also need to see adults meet difficulty well. No family is free from frustration, grief, conflict, or disappointment. The goal is not perfection. The goal is repair and example. Let them see apology. Let them see forgiveness. Let them see tears without shame. Let them see resilience after setbacks. Let them see that bad days pass. This may teach happiness more deeply than pretending everything is fine. There is great wisdom in simple rituals: a moment of thanks before meals, a walk after dinner, reading aloud together, morning sunlight at the window, naming one good thing before sleep, shared silence for one breath. Small repeated acts shape inner worlds. And perhaps most important of all, give children attention. Not distracted attention, not multitasked attention, not occasional leftovers of attention. Presence. To be fully seen by someone who loves you is one of the foundations of psychological health. Many later struggles are rooted less in lack of possessions than in lack of attuned presence. 5 wholehearted minutes can outweigh an hour of distracted proximity. How do we teach happiness if our own happiness feels unsteady? Begin there honestly. Children do not need flawless adults. They need adults committed to growing. If we learn gratitude, they learn it. If we heal our bitterness, they benefit. If we reduce unnecessary reactivity, the whole home softens. Our inner work becomes their inheritance. Try something simple today, whether with children, grandchildren, students, or anyone younger in your life. Pause together and notice. One thing beautiful, one thing helpful, and one thing to be thankful for. Keep it natural, keep it brief, keep it real. The seeds of happiness are often small. What is planted repeatedly becomes character. And a child taught how to love life carries a treasure no market can sell and no hardship can fully take away. Part 4, Belonging, Chapter 13. There are no sides to the circle. Human beings long to belong. We want to be seen, included, protected, valued, and connected to something larger than ourselves. This longing is natural. It has helped families survive, communities form, and cultures endure. Belonging can nourish the heart and steady the mind. Yet the same longing can be distorted. When belonging becomes narrow, it often turns against life itself. We begin with a circle of care: family, tribe, religion, nation, ideology, race, class, team, party, or identity group. There is nothing inherently wrong with these smaller circles. They can offer meaning, loyalty, heritage, and mutual support. The trouble begins when we imagine the circle has sides, when we believe that caring for us requires contempt for them, when we treat difference as threat, when we build identity from opposition, when we mistake exclusion for strength. Then belonging becomes division. History is crowded with the consequences. Wars launched by tribal certainty, families split by pride, communities poisoned by suspicion, politics driven by outrage, religions forgetting compassion in defense of doctrine. Again and again the human heart narrows and calls it righteousness. Yet reality keeps offering a larger truth. We breathe the same air, we depend on the same earth. We grieve in similar ways, we love our children, we fear loss. We seek dignity, we hope to matter. We all live briefly and pass. Beneath costume and story there is shared humanity. To recognize this is not sentimental. It is practical wisdom. When we forget our interconnectedness, we create systems that eventually wound everyone. Hatred harms the hater. Exploitation destabilizes the exploiter. Environmental destruction ignores the fact that there is no separate atmosphere for the privileged. The circle is larger than our preferences. Many people experience glimpses of this wider belonging unexpectedly. Looking at Earth from above, standing under a night sky, holding a newborn child, caring for someone in pain, listening deeply to a stranger's story, being helped by someone once considered other. For a moment, boundaries soften, we remember. There are no sides to the circle because life itself is relational. Forests share nutrients through roots and fungal networks. Oceans connect distant shores. Weather crosses borders without passport. Economies intertwine. Cultures borrow and blend. Language itself is inherited through countless others. Independence has value, but total separateness is illusion. Even the self we defend so fiercely was formed through relationships. This does not mean all views are equal or all actions acceptable. Expanding belonging does not require moral confusion. We can oppose cruelty without hating persons. We can set boundaries without dehumanizing. We can protect the vulnerable without needing enemies for identity. Strong love can be clear-eyed. There is a difference between discernment and division. Discernment says this behavior is harmful and must be addressed. Division says, those people are the problem. The first can heal. The second often multiplies harm. Much modern life rewards side-taking. Outrage is profitable. Algorithms amplify conflict. Groups bond quickly through shared contempt. It can feel energizing to stand against something. Anger gives temporary certainty and identity. But anger alone rarely sustains wisdom. The deeper work is harder. Can we build communities rooted in what we are for? Can we disagree without contempt? Can we remain human while opposing inhumanity? Can we protect justice without feeding hatred? This is mature belonging. The heart usually knows the difference. Narrow belonging feels brittle, defensive, easily threatened. Larger belonging feels spacious, steady, and compassionate without becoming weak. When we move into wider circles, fear often decreases. We no longer need everyone to mirror us. Difference becomes interesting rather than dangerous. Curiosity returns. Humility grows. We realize that no single tribe contains all truth. This can begin very simply. Learn the name of a neighbor unlike you. Listen before arguing. Travel if possible. Read voices outside your camp. Serve where suffering ignores ideology. Notice how quickly the mind labels strangers, then soften. There are also inner sides to reconcile. Many people are divided within themselves. One part ashamed, another proud, one fearful, another longing, one controlling, another exhausted. Healing often means creating inner belonging too. Nothing in you needs hatred to be transformed. Try something simple today. When you encounter someone you instinctively dismiss, pause and silently remember, this person also seeks happiness. This person also knows pain. This person also wants to belong. You need not agree. You need only remember their humanity. The future may depend less on winning tribal battles and more on widening circles of care. There are no sides to the circle, only places where love has not yet reached. Chapter 14, Healing the Universe in Small Ways. Many people secretly believe that only large actions matter. They imagine significance belongs to presidents, inventors, celebrities, billionaires, revolutionaries, spiritual leaders, or those whose names enter history books. They assume that unless their impact is dramatic, public, or measurable, it is somehow small enough to be irrelevant. This belief causes unnecessary despair. Because most of life is lived quietly, Most kindness is unseen. Most courage is private. Most healing happens without applause. Most love leaves no headline. Yet the world is continually shaped by these invisible forces. A patient teacher alters generations. A steady parent changes the nervous system of a family. A nurse's calm presence reduces fear. A mechanic's honesty preserves trust. A stranger's kindness interrupts despair. A neighbor's help softens loneliness. A friend's collapse. Listening prevents. These are not minor things. The culture often worships scale and overlooks depth. It asks, how many followers, rather than how much sincerity. It celebrates expansion more than integrity, visibility more than tenderness, accumulation more than contribution. But life itself often values differently. One healthy tree cools shade for decades. One restored wetland supports thousands of creatures. One truthful conversation can redirect a life. One act of forgiveness can stop generations of bitterness. Small does not mean weak. Sometimes what is small enough to be intimate is what can truly heal. Many people postpone contribution because they cannot do everything. They see global suffering, environmental decline, violence, loneliness, corruption, and grief. The scale feels overwhelming, so they withdraw, numb out, or become cynical. But no one is asked to do everything. We are asked to do what is ours to do. This distinction restores dignity. Your task may be to raise children with love, to care well for aging parents, to plant gardens, to mentor youth, to make music that uplifts, to run an honest business, to feed people, to protect habitat, to tell truth gently, to create beauty, to reduce harm where you stand. The universe heals through countless local acts. A forest is not one tree. A culture is not one law. A future is not one decision. It is the accumulation of many small patterns. This is why daily habits matter so much. Every time we choose patience over reactivity, something heals. Every time we listen instead of dominate, something heals. Every time we recycle, conserve, repair, plant, or simplify, something heals. Every time we encourage rather than shame, something heals. Every time we refuse cruelty, gossip, contempt, or needless violence, something heals. These moments may seem tiny. They are not. They are the fibers from which worlds are woven. There is also healing in restraint. Not all contribution is active doing. Sometimes what helps most is what we choose not to spread. Not forwarding outrage, not escalating conflict, not speaking harshly in anger, not buying what harms needlessly, not adding more noise. The absence of harm is a profound form of service. Nature teaches this too. Much of what sustains life happens quietly and steadily. Soil forming, roots holding earth, bees pollinating, fungi recycling decay, rivers carving pathways, sunlight feeding leaves. No applause, no branding, no self-congratulation, just function aligned with life. Human beings are healthiest when our actions resemble this simplicity. Do what nourishes, do what repairs, do what connects, do what beautifies, do what reduces suffering. Then let go of needing credit. Recognition can be pleasant, but when it becomes motive, purity weakens. Service tied too tightly to praise becomes unstable. Anonymous goodness often carries special freedom. No performance, no image to maintain, just contribution. This does not mean burnout or martyrdom. Small healing includes caring for oneself. Exhausted helpers often spread strain unintentionally. Rest, boundaries, joy, and renewal are part of sustainable service. The candle must be tended if it is to keep giving light. How do we begin? Start where your feet are. What room are you in? What person is near? What task is waiting? What suffering is visible? What beauty could be created here? What one thing can be improved today? The next right thing is often close at hand. Clean the neglected corner. Call the lonely friend. Pick up litter. Write the note of appreciation. Cook nourishing food. Offer forgiveness. Donate quietly. Teach what you know. Smile at the cashier. Protect one patch of earth. Do not underestimate repetition. Tiny actions done consistently become character. Character expressed collectively becomes culture. Try something simple today. Ask yourself, what small act would make this place more whole? Then do it without drama. You may never know the full ripple effects. Very often the good we do disappears from our sight while continuing through others. That is enough. The universe does not heal only through grand gestures. It heals every day through ordinary people choosing love in ordinary moments. See Chapter 15. Just be it. After all the seeking, striving, comparing, proving, accumulating, defending, and becoming, many people eventually arrive at a quieter question. What if I do not need to become so much? What if beneath all the effort there is already something whole, alive, and worthy here now? This question can feel unsettling at first. Much of culture is built on dissatisfaction. We are taught to improve relentlessly, optimize endlessly, acquire constantly, and construct an identity strong enough to impress the world. There is value in growth, discipline, learning, and contribution. But when improvement becomes obsession, we can lose touch with the life that is trying to be lived now. We become human projects rather than human beings. The phrase "just be it" points to a different orientation, not passivity, not laziness, not withdrawal from responsibility, not resignation. It points to alignment, to live so that doing arises from being, to act from depth rather than insecurity, to move from presence rather than compulsion, to contribute without needing constant self-construction. When we just do it without awareness, we may intensify confusion. We can become efficient at the wrong things. We can chase goals that do not fit the soul. We can move quickly while inwardly lost. But when we just be it, action changes quality. We still work, we still build, we still love, we still struggle, create, repair, and serve, yet the center shifts. Instead of acting to prove worth, we act from worth already present. Instead of loving to secure identity, we love because love fits our nature. Instead of striving for belonging, we act from belonging. Instead of forcing significance, we offer sincerity. This is simpler and more powerful. A tree does not strive to become tree-like. A bird does not rehearse birdness. The ocean does not compare waves. They express what they are through participation. Human beings carry greater complexity, but the principle remains. Much suffering comes from living too far from our own nature. We imitate what does not fit. We obey voices that are not ours. We abandon inner truth for outer approval. Then restlessness grows. To just be it is to return. Return to the breath. Return to the body. Return to honesty. Return to the heart. Return to what gives life. Return to this moment. The return may happen many times each day. We forget and remember, scatter and gather, pretend and soften, grip and release. This is normal. The path is not perfection, but repeated homecoming. There is great freedom in no longer needing to perform a self at all times. Conversation becomes easier when we stop managing image. Work becomes cleaner when we stop dramatizing status. Relationships deepen when masks loosen. Creativity flows when comparison quiets. Being is fertile. Many fear that if they relax identity striving, they will lose ambition. Yet healthy action often becomes stronger when freed from ego burden. Attention sharpens. Energy returns. Persistence grows steadier because it is no longer fueled mainly by anxiety. A person rooted in being may accomplish much, but accomplishment is no longer the source of self. This chapter of life often arrives naturally through aging, loss, illness, heartbreak, or spiritual exhaustion. What once seemed urgent loses glamour. What once seemed small becomes precious. Morning light, shared laughter, honest friendship, a useful day's work, birdsong, a clear conscience. Breath, life simplifies itself if we listen. To just be it also means embodying what we claim to value. If kindness matters, be kind. If truth matters, be truthful. If peace matters, bring peace. If gratitude matters, express gratitude. If stewardship matters, care for what is near. If love matters, let someone feel loved. Too much modern life confuses symbolism with embodiment. We announce values more easily than we live them. Being restores credibility. There will still be difficulty. Presence does not cancel pain. Alignment does not eliminate loss. Love does not guarantee comfort. But when storms come, being offers ballast. You know how to return. You know what matters. You know that worth is deeper than circumstance. Try something simple now. Pause. Take one full breath in. Let it go slowly. For a moment, stop improving yourself. Stop comparing yourself. Stop explaining yourself. Stop becoming. Just feel the fact of being here. Notice how much is already given. Nothing essential is missing from this moment's invitation. You may still have work to do. You may still have healing ahead. You may still have responsibilities waiting. But underneath all of it, life is asking less than you feared and offering more than you knew. Not merely to do, to be. And from that being, let right action naturally grow. Just be it. Part 5, Ripened Wisdom, Chapter 16. Aging into presence. When we are young, time often feels abundant. We imagine there will be many more chances, many more seasons, many more opportunities to begin later. We postpone what matters. We delay honesty. We assume relationships can wait. We spend years chasing things that, in quieter moments, we know do not satisfy deeply. Youth often lives with the illusion of endless tomorrows. Aging gently removes that illusion. At first, this can feel threatening. The body changes, recovery slows, certain doors close, friends grow older, some fall ill, some die. The mirror tells truths it once softened. Energy becomes more precious. Time becomes less theoretical. Yet hidden inside these losses is a remarkable gift, clarity. What once seemed urgent may no longer matter. What once seemed impressive may now appear shallow. What once seemed distant may become intimate and dear. Aging can simplify life. Many people fear getting older because they focus only on decline. They imagine aging as a long subtraction. Strength reduced, beauty diminished, options narrowed, relevance fading. Certainly, losses are real. To deny this would be dishonest. Bodies change, capacities shift, there may be pain, grief, limitations, and unwelcome surprises. But decline is not the whole story. There can also be ripening. The fruit does not apologize for becoming sweet. There is a wisdom that often arrives only through years lived, mistakes made, suffering endured, love given, seasons completed, and illusions surrendered. Some lessons cannot be rushed. They must be earned in time. Patience deepens, perspective widens, compassion grows, urgency becomes wiser, vanity softens, gratitude becomes more natural. What many call aging can also be understood as distillation. Life gradually burns away what is unnecessary. The need to impress weakens. The appetite for drama lessens. The tolerance for superficiality declines. The value of sincere friendship rises. Simple pleasures become enough. Morning light through a window. A strong cup of coffee. Birdsong. A body that still moves. A familiar hand to hold. The chance to help someone. The gift of another day. These can become rich beyond measure. There is also freedom in caring less about the gaze of others. Much youthful suffering comes from comparison, image management, insecurity, and the hunger to be approved. Aging can loosen this prison. One begins to ask, do I like my own company? Am I living honestly? Am I kind? What truly matters now? These questions are liberating because they return authority inward. The body itself becomes teacher. It reminds us that life is not an abstract concept. Knees speak, back muscles speak, fatigue speaks, recovery speaks. We learn to respect rhythms we once ignored. We become wiser about rest, nourishment, movement, balance, and stewardship. What was once taken for granted becomes appreciated. To stand up easily, to breathe deeply, to walk without pain, to sleep well, to bend and lift, to laugh freely. When these are no longer guaranteed, gratitude matures. Aging can also awaken courage. With fewer imagined tomorrows, postponement loses credibility. The book you wanted to write, the apology you meant to offer, the forgiveness you withheld, the music you wanted to play, the beauty you hoped to notice, the truth you needed to speak. Why wait? Mortality, when faced honestly, can energize life. This does not mean reckless urgency. It means wise immediacy. It means recognizing that today is not rehearsal. This conversation, this walk, this meal, this chance to love, these are actual life, not preludes. Many older people become more present for this reason. The future no longer hypnotizes as easily. Attention returns to what is here, the breeze on the skin, the scent of rain, the face across the table, the breath entering now. Presence becomes less philosophy and more necessity. There may also be grief. Aging often includes losses that younger people cannot yet fully understand. Parents gone, friends diminished, changing roles, physical limitations, memories attached to places that no longer exist. Grief deserves honor, but grief and gratitude can live together. We can mourn what has passed while appreciating what remains. We can miss those gone while loving those here. We can feel tears and still feel wonder. This is mature wholeness. Another gift of aging is service without ego. Earlier in life, helping may be mixed with ambition, recognition, or identity building. Later, one may help more quietly. To encourage younger people to steady a room with calm presence, to pass on hard-earned wisdom, to listen without needing center stage, to model dignity and change. This is noble work. An elder is not merely an older person. An elder is someone who has metabolized life into wisdom and offers it generously. Years alone do not guarantee this. Some grow older without growing deeper. But when awareness accompanies time, age can become medicine for the community. How do we age into presence? First, stop treating youth as the only valuable season. Spring is beautiful, so are autumn and winter. Second, care for the body as an ally, not an enemy. Move it, thank it, adapt with it. Third, release comparison with younger selves. That person had gifts, so do you now. Fourth, share what you know without preaching. Wisdom offered gently travels farther. Fifth, keep wonder alive. Many older eyes see more beautifully because they know how brief beauty is. Try something simple today. Look at your hands. Notice what they have carried, built, touched, repaired, comforted, created, and endured. Thank them. Then ask, given the time I have now, what matters most? Let the answer simplify you. Aging is not only the story of what leaves, it is also the story of what remains when the unnecessary falls away, and what remains may be the most precious part of you. Chapter 17. Nature never lies. Long before many of us learned from books, we were being taught by the world itself, by wind moving through trees, by rain striking the earth, by birds greeting dawn, by rivers finding their path, by seasons arriving without argument, by the silent dignity of mountains, by the moon keeping time above restless cities. Nature has always been speaking. The difficulty is not that nature is unclear. The difficulty is that we have become distracted. Modern life often surrounds us with artificial urgencies. Notifications compete for attention. Markets try to shape desire. News cycles amplify fear. Schedules crowd the nervous system. Opinions multiply faster than wisdom. In such conditions, we can forget the language of what is real. Nature remembers. A tree does not pretend to be a river. A river does not envy the mountain. Winter does not apologize for barrenness. Spring does not force blossoms in January. The hawk does not seek applause for soaring. Each expresses its nature without self-consciousness. There is immense freedom in this. Human beings suffer greatly from trying to be what does not fit. We imitate roles, chase borrowed ambitions, perform identities, and compare our lives against images carefully edited for display. We become estranged from our own design. Nature quietly invites us back. Be what you are. Grow where rooted. Move when it is time. Rest when seasons ask. Bloom when conditions support it. Let go when cycles complete. No lecture is required. Consider the sunrise. It arrives daily with astonishing reliability, asking nothing from us. Some mornings are radiant, others hidden behind cloud. Yet even when unseen, dawn still comes. There is wisdom here. Much of life works the same way. Growth may be invisible for a time. Healing may occur beneath the surface. Hope may be obscured without being absent. Clouds do not cancel the sun. How often we mistake temporary weather for permanent truth. Or consider trees. A mature tree stands through heat, wind, cold, drought, storm, and stillness. It bends when needed and roots deeper over time. It gives shade it does not personally use. It drops leaves without drama. It nourishes soil through what it releases. There is a model for living. Stand where planted. Remain flexible. Offer benefit. Release what is finished. Trust deeper rooting. Many people want the fruit of maturity without the seasons that create it. Nature does not rush ripening. The ocean teaches differently. Waves rise and fall continuously. None remain. To cling to one wave would be madness. Yet many of us try to do this psychologically. We cling to passing moods, temporary success, youthful identity, former relationships, Yesterday's praise, old injuries, old stories. The wave has already moved on. We cannot stop it, but we can learn to ride it with grace. Those who spend time with water often sense this directly. Balance is dynamic, not fixed. Strength must cooperate with flexibility. Fear tightens the body. Trust opens timing. Presence matters because hesitation is costly and overthinking can throw us off center. Life resembles this more than we admit. Nature also teaches humility. Stand beneath a sky full of stars and many ego dramas shrink naturally. Walk among giant trees and self-importance softens. Listen to thunder rolling across open land and remember that reality is larger than personal preference. Humility is not humiliation, it is relief. We do not need to be the center of everything. Animals teach presence. A dog does not rehearse next Tuesday. A deer is alert but not neurotically obsessed. Birds sing now. Even creatures trained by instinct often display a kind of immediacy humans, burdened by thought, frequently lose. This does not mean animals are spiritual gurus. It means life demonstrates forms of intelligence beyond verbal mind. Watch closely and learn. Nature also includes death, decay, and endings. Leaves fall, predators hunt, storms destroy, bodies return to soil. There is beauty, but not sentimentality. This honesty is medicine. Modern culture often sells fantasies of permanent comfort, endless youth, and immunity from loss. Nature tells the truth. Everything changes, everything participates, everything returns. Far from depressing, this can deepen appreciation. Because flowers fade, we notice them. Because summers end, we cherish them. Because lives are finite, love matters urgently. Impermanence gives tenderness to existence. Many people say they feel better after time outdoors and wonder why. Part of the answer is biological: light, movement, fresh air, nervous system regulation. But something deeper may also be happening. We are remembering context. We are not machines in sealed boxes. We are organisms within living systems. We belong to sky, soil, water, rhythm, season, and breath. Alienation lessens when belonging is felt physically. How do we let nature teach us again? First, go outside regularly, not only for exercise or errands. Go to receive. Second, slow down enough to notice. One bird call fully heard may teach more than an hour of distracted walking. Third, observe cycles, sunrise and sunset, moon phases, seasonal shifts, migration, growth, and dormancy, your own energy patterns. Fourth, bring questions quietly. What in me needs pruning? What season am I in? Where must I root deeper? What is ready to be released? What wants to grow naturally? Nature rarely answers in sentences, but often in felt clarity. Fifth, protect what teaches you. Stewardship is gratitude made practical. Try something simple today. Step outside for 5 minutes without a phone. Feel the air on your skin. Notice one sound, one movement, one scent, one form of beauty. Let yourself belong there. You may discover that peace was never entirely missing. It was waiting where life still speaks honestly. Nature never lies. More time to begin, more time to love well, more time to rest, more time to tell the truth, more time to notice beauty. And when we listen, we remember how to live. Chapter 18, Death as Teacher, Life as Gift. Most people live as though death belongs to someone else. It is acknowledged in the abstract, spoken of when tragedy strikes, hidden in hospitals, softened by euphemisms, postponed in thought, and pushed to the edges of awareness. We know intellectually that life ends, yet emotionally we often behave as though there will always be more time to apologize, more time to become who we already sense we are meant to be. Then years pass. Death is unsettling because it removes illusion. It does not negotiate with status, wealth, denial, reputation, intelligence, beauty, ideology, or plans. It arrives for the powerful and powerless alike. It humbles every tribe. It equalizes every title. For this reason, many avoid thinking about it. Yet when approached honestly, death can become one of life's greatest teachers. It asks the questions we postpone. What truly matters? What is worth giving energy to? What relationships need tending? What resentments are too expensive to keep? What beauty have I overlooked? If time is finite, how shall I live now? These are clarifying questions. Much that once felt urgent begins to shrink under their light. Petty arguments lose glamour. Endless comparison appears wasteful. Image management seems exhausting. The appetite for trivial distraction weakens. Mortality simplifies. A cup of coffee in morning light. This can be frightening at first, but also liberating. When we remember that life is brief, we become more available to life. We stop assuming tomorrow will deliver what today was denied. We begin meeting ordinary moments with less arrogance and more reverence. The laugh of someone we love, a walk under trees, hands that still function, the ability to breathe deeply, one more conversation, one more sunrise. These are no small things. They are portions of a finite gift. Death teaches gratitude because it reveals fragility. What is guaranteed is rarely appreciated. What is vulnerable becomes precious. The breath you just took was not promised. Neither is the next one. This is not cause for panic. It is cause for wonder. Many imagine that remembering death leads to gloom. Often the opposite is true. What darkens life is not mortality itself, but unconscious living. We drift, numb ourselves, postpone meaning, and cling to fantasies of endless time. Then emptiness grows. Awareness of death can awaken vividness. We feel seasons more deeply. We waste fewer days in resentment. We speak more honestly. We forgive sooner. We cherish more fully. We risk loving while there is still time. This is life intensified, not diminished. There is also humility in mortality. However important we imagine ourselves, the earth has seen countless generations come and go. Great empires have faded. Famous names are forgotten. Personal dramas dissolve quickly in the scale of time. Humility here is not despair. It is relief. We do not need to be immortal through achievement. We do not need to matter to everyone. We do not need to control history. It may be enough to love those near us well, to reduce suffering where we stand, to leave things a little kinder, cleaner, wiser, or more beautiful than we found them, to participate sincerely while we are here. Death also teaches non-attachment. One day we release everything, possessions, roles, titles, opinions, the body itself. Knowing this can help us loosen our grip now. We still care, create, enjoy, and contribute, but with less desperation. We learn to hold life with open hands. Thank you. And when the time comes, goodbye. Many people fear death because they fear incompletion. They sense they have not truly lived, that they have betrayed themselves too often, loved too cautiously, delayed what mattered, or lived mainly for approval. This fear can become guidance. Begin now. No one can rewrite the past, but anyone alive can deepen the present. Tell someone you love them. Make the call, start the practice. Release one grievance, create the work. Spend time in beauty, become honest. The doorway is still open while breath remains. There is also grief in death. We lose those we love and the heart breaks. No philosophy should erase this. Love naturally mourns when separated from form. Tears are not failure, they are testimony. Grief is love carrying on, and grief itself can teach us the depth of our capacity to care. When we mourn, we are reminded that connection mattered. Better heartbreak after loving than emptiness after withholding. How do we live with death wisely? First, remember it gently, not obsessively, not morbidly, simply honestly. Second, let mortality guide priorities. If this year mattered deeply, what would change? Third, practice completion regularly. Express thanks, clear conflicts, keep promises, simplify. Fourth, cultivate presence. Death is certain, timing is not. Presence lets us actually inhabit the life between now and then. Fifth, trust mystery where certainty ends. No one knows fully. Humility is appropriate here. Try something simple today. Pause and place a hand on the chest. Feel the heartbeat if you can. Feel the breath entering and leaving. Then ask, if this life is a gift, how shall I receive it today? Let the answer be practical. Call someone, walk outside, begin. Forgive, give thanks, show up fully. Death is not only the ending of life, it is the teacher that reminds us to live. And life, seen clearly, is gift enough. Closing reflections, returning to this precious moment. If you have come this far, perhaps you recognize something quietly important. Much of what you were searching for has been accompanying you all along. Not as an idea, not as a possession, not as a future achievement, as presence, as breath, as awareness, as the heart's quiet knowing, as the capacity to love, to notice, to begin again. We often imagine wisdom as something distant, hidden in mountains, monasteries, books, teachers, or extraordinary experiences. These places and people may help us. They may remind us. They may point the way. But no teacher can hand you your own life. No philosophy can breathe for you. No belief can feel this sunrise for you. No system can love on your behalf. No doctrine can stand in for direct attention. Sooner or later, all teachings must become lived. The invitation has always been simple, though not always easy. Be here, listen deeply, tell the truth, let go where needed, give thanks often, serve what heals, love widely, begin again. This is enough path for a lifetime. There will be days of clarity when everything feels aligned. There will also be days of confusion, grief, fatigue, and resistance. There will be seasons when the heart feels near and seasons when it seems hidden. Do not mistake changing weather for lost direction. The sky remains even when clouds pass. So too with awareness. Even when restless, you can return. Even when discouraged, you can breathe. Even when ashamed, you can begin honestly. Even when grieving, you can love. Even when uncertain, you can take one true step. This is how real transformation usually happens. Not through one dramatic breakthrough, but through many small returns. Return to gratitude. Return to humility, return to courage, return to kindness, return to presence, again and again. Life does not ask perfection. It asks participation. It asks sincerity. It asks that we meet what is before us with as much wakefulness as we can bring. You may never solve all mysteries. You may never control outcomes. You may never arrive at permanent certainty. But you can become intimate with life as it is unfolding now. And that intimacy is rich beyond measure. You can feel rain on your skin. You can comfort another human being. You can speak words that heal. You can notice beauty hidden in plain sight. You can learn from sorrow. You can laugh deeply. You can stand in wonder. You can give your gifts while you are here. This is no small thing. One day, each of us will take a final breath. Titles will fall away. Possessions will pass on. Arguments will fade. Many anxieties will be seen for what they were. Temporary weather around a vast sky. What may remain meaningful are simpler things. How fully did I live? How honestly did I love? How often did I give thanks? Did my presence reduce suffering or increase it? Did I meet the mystery with openness? These questions can guide us now. So as you close this book, perhaps do not rush into the next distraction. Pause. Feel the body sitting here. Notice the breath arriving freely. Sense the aliveness that asks nothing dramatic in this moment. You are here. This moment is here. The opportunity is here. May you trust what gives life. May you remember your belonging. May you meet fear with courage and pride with humility. May your doing grow from your being. May gratitude become natural. May your days become contribution. May you keep returning to the precious ordinary miracle of now. The wave continues. You cannot stop it, but you can learn to ride it with grace. Acknowledgements. No life is lived alone, and no book is written alone. I offer my deepest gratitude to the many people, experiences, and unseen influences that help shape these pages. To my family, thank you for the love, patience, forgiveness, and companionship that have carried me through changing seasons of life. Whatever wisdom is here has been refined through relationship. To the teachers, authors, spiritual guides, and friends who helped widen my perspective, deepen my curiosity, and remind me to return to what is true, thank you. Some taught through words, others through example, and many through simple presence. To those who challenged me, disappointed me, or brought difficulty into my life, thank you as well. Much of what matters most was learned through friction, loss, humility, and the need to begin again. To the children and adults I have worked with over the years, thank you for what you taught me about courage, communication, vulnerability, and the human desire to connect. To music, thank you for the joy, healing, discipline, and moments of freedom beyond words. To nature, the wind, water, forests, birds, changing seasons, sunrise and sunset, thank you for being a patient and honest teacher. To the practices of silence, meditation, breath, and attention, thank you for helping me return again and again to the preciousness of this moment. To those reading this book, thank you for your time and willingness to reflect. In a busy world, attention is one of the greatest gifts we can offer. And finally, to the mystery of life itself, This improbable gift of being here at all, thank you. Breathing in, yes. Breathing out, thank you.